half of our lovely evening of writing. We have, first up, poet and UW MFA alumnus, Kevin Pratt. Now, Kevin is always going somewhere. He's like off to Portland for a reading, or to Yakima with Jack Straw, which he curated last year. Or he moved from New Jersey to Washington a long time ago to study poetry. And then he's like flitting and flying from place to Rome and back here. But what I love about Kevin's travels is that they don't just happen in real life, they happen in his poems. His poems travel seamlessly between people in the classics of Homer, the really distant historical Galilean astronomy, and the minds of animals creeping through modern-day mountains. From the high oracular to the incredibly intimate, his poems investigate how to make meaning in these liminal spaces where we do a lot of thinking and find truth. Kevin's the chair of the Department of English at Everett Community College, the editor-in-chief of Poetry Northwest. He teaches in the UW's Rome program in the summers, and he's author of the book of poems, Solar Prominence. Please join me in welcoming Kevin Pratt.
Justice Antonin Scalia. Wouldn't want to be you. The Constitution is dead, he'd opine. Now his originalism suits me just fine. I am really honored to be back here at Castalia, my favorite reading series in Seattle, in the Northwest, in fact. As Rachel mentioned, I'm delighted to be reading with Daniel and Kristen and Michelle. Michelle went to Rome last summer, and you heard the beautiful results, so if you're thinking about going, you should go. But I must warn you that masturbation in the Capital Line bathroom is strictly extracurricular, not on syllabus. As Rachel was saying, I do like to travel, and I am an alumnus of this great UW program, as well as a teacher in it now. A paradox which sort of blows my mind from time to time. When we did Castalia is ancient, right? I mean, it's not just a spring in Delphi, it's a leak in Savory Hall, right? That's where we used to do Castalia, in the bomb shelter-like basement of Savory Hall. You guys have elevated the game so much, civilized it. Here we are in the cafe, drinking, and there's not only one room, but there's this other room over here, down in the shadows and the darkness. I think these people over here need a little reassurance that we know that they're there. Can you say, "We know you're there, people"?
We know you're there, people.
And you can say, "Thank you very much." Never mind. Paradoxes of time. This one is called Old Paradox. Consider that a single grain of sand cannot be arranged so as to form a heap. Consider that it's difficult, if not impossible, to discover the exact moment a tadpole becomes a frog. The precise instant al dente loses its bright tooth. At noon, I am half in love with you, half distracted by the dishes in the sink. Now the soul, tell me, where is it, that split second before and after the old woman who is mother and grandmother and cousin to those assembled in the hospice room kisses her own immigrant grandmother on the cheek as she leaves that Napoli she left long ago, forever in the past? In dying, does she take the fly swatter with her? Does every cell turn off at once? One death, permeable as grief, another obdurate. They lean against each other, accumulating mass. On a scale of extravagant to frugal, we fall everywhere between. I thought I'd try a little experiment because, Castalia is all about improvisation, right? It's all about, trying out the new work that you're working on. Maybe it's going to make it into the thesis, maybe not. Everything I heard tonight is making it into the thesis. That's great. So this is a sequence. It's very rough, and I don't apologize for that. There's probably some clunkers in here, and I'm not going to read it all. But it's called The News in January. And it's just, I was keeping a poetry journal last month, and I made myself write every day, just, because I wanted to get back into the game a little bit more intensely than I have been in the previous few months or years. The child came along. And so you'll hear some things that happened last month, and others will just be weird. So. And then I'll close with a little poem for my friends from Rome last summer, not only Michelle, but some other students who've come out, and I really appreciate seeing you here tonight. The News in January, and like a dumbass, I arranged it backwards. So I'm going to be flipping the pages forward, but somehow that works. Low resolution New Year's Day. Inside the door, a trapdoor. Inside the trapdoor, a trapeze artist. Inside the rope swing, a roadside flare, signaling a roadside flare, signaling a car in ditch, calling forth incident response. That was incident response. 4 times. Inside the car, no one we know. No one we know, so we keep on driving. We keep on driving like this across ravine and river delta and range after range of mountain inside a tow truck. Inside a snowstorm, continental divide. This story reads from right to left. Inside English, a turn signal. Inside the sunset, Monument Valley. Inside the valley, another old-fashioned. Inside the ice, the Anthropocene. I'm going to skip day 2. After too many old fashions, day 2 was just a dash. Unhappy standoff. Eamon and Ryan Bundy have various and sundry qualms with the feds. Quarrels with the feds. Some snakes are born with 2 heads. One hisses, "Don't tread on me." The other denounces grazing fees and has God's ear, this divinity they call Malheur. 12th night. Which is sadder, a tonic without the gin or a beard without the chin? A beguine without the begin or a fish without a fin? A Hail Mary without a win-win or salvation without the sin? Curbside in the planting strip, 5 fir trees stripped of their Christmas decor, or the merrier minus the more? Peace on earth or expanding girth? Frankincense or myrrh? To erstwhile or to a sad sack or a satyr? A raison d'etre or a what's the matter? Roaming charges or room and board? an empty larder, or an overlord? Hand to mouth or word for word? Shaken or stirred? Mood interrogative. What does time weigh? A heartbeat? A feather? Yesterday's weather? A single stitch? That itch hard to reach in the middle of the back? A certain knack neutrinos have for going undetected, if not trapped in heavy water at the bottom of Lake Baikal? The air show biplane stall? Galileo in the leaning tower dropped hour after hour, each landing with the same expression. Is it welter, weight, or counter? Shadow boxing in the valley. How can you tell the gallows from the galley? Thank you, Yates. Lullaby from middle age. That's not me, that's a carrot. Fog, I'll drink with you afterwards. Fog becomes a frost. Bog turns into bile. Fasting grows fastidious, walking off for miles. Friends end up frowning. Clowns make awful clones. Clams raise quite a clamor hawking megaphones. I becomes another. Child grows up to be a version of his parents, voting absentee. Travel sprouts an armchair. Mortgage springs a leak. Tongue ties itself in slip knots, parsing doublespeak. Trade winds change direction. Money changes hands. Sunlight changes everything an earthworm understands. Gun shows open loopholes. Legislators stall. Bedtime comes too quickly, or doesn't come at all. Frost outlines a feeling. Chalk outlines a man. Deluge ups the ante, making planetary plans. Let's dance. David Bowie. I don't know how he did it. Made changing seem the natural thing, when everyone else I knew stayed true to singular ideas of pain. Nothing like Aladdin sane. One with. How does C.D. Wright die? Why now? What sound does Y make? Crying. I have to do this one, I'm sorry. We the people. The state of the union is strong. Also, is McConnell wearing a thong? He glowers a lot like the Grinch, ensnared in the pull of a winch. Ryan has mastered the look of passing spark notes off as the book. And Rubio, vacuously slick, just practicing real politic. Al Franken, don't bogart that bong. The grate of our onion is strong. Flipping through. So then I started to imagine, like, this year, it's not enough. I was like projecting into the future, like, it's just to get past 2016's craziness. And I thought, where is this leading to us to? And I thought of George Orwell, and this poem is called 2084. Snow is made of air conditioning. Lies are made of grease. Politics is made of money. War is made of peace. Food is made of corn syrup. God is made of guns. Deserts are the climate's way of culling chosen ones. The sky is made of rhetoric. Hate is made of love. Drinking water is made of lead. Circuses.gov. Knowledge is made of selfies. The ocean, fossil fuels. Banks amass a vast reserve, breaking golden rules. Sleep is made of TV. Houses are made of debt. Friends are made of smartphones. Memory, regret. Did anybody go to the opera last month? All right, I won't. Fucking great opera, you missed it. Okay, because you missed it. Plot device. The marriage of Figaro doesn't go off without a hitch. It's a cultural niche, this droit de seigneur, as you were. Beautiful morning astronomy serves up. It's still going on, actually, if you wake up early enough. Like with Michelle, she'll show you around. Planetary alignment. Blue before morning. Wolf moon in the barren cherry, tugging at a string of lanterns. Tin Can Alley, blizzard of 5. Some people want Clinton. Some people want Sanders. It doesn't much matter because gerrymanders. All right, last poem. This is a 3-part poem that starts in the Aeolian Islands. This is gonna, live up to the introduction a little bit. Starts at the Aeolian Islands, moves up to the Bay of Naples, and ends in Arkansas. All right? I won't be doing a southern voice. That's a Kristen. I mean, there's a lot of things going on in here, but I'll just say 3 things briefly. The first 2 poems refer to things dug out of the earth, things buried by volcanoes. And the third poem, the one in Arkansas, refers to birds falling out of the sky. But you could think of it as being a volcanic effect because Averno, the entrance to the underworld by Naples, means place of no birds. So that's how you knew you were in the underworld, because there were no more birds. All right? They would be killed by the fumes, etc. All right. The other thing you need to know is that the second part, Villa dei Papiri, is the oldest library on Earth. It was uncovered intact beneath, the rubble of Pompeii. Herculaneum was buried deeper than Pompeii, and so they uncovered this beautiful intact library, and it had all of these scrolls, and all the scrolls were charred, and they wanted to read them because there might be forgotten classics there, and so they spent, this was in the late 1700s, they spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to open these scrolls without just destroying them, because you try to peel them and they just crumble. Now they're using X-rays, phase photography, and there was a fascinating article in the Smithsonian and even in the New Yorker a couple months ago, so you can look this up if you're interested in more. So that's what you need to know. Number 1, figure of Aeolus, and I'm reading this from my Roman friends, but all of you as well, because we're all Romans here tonight. All roads lead, right? Accidentals. Figure of Aeolus 1. They found you under 20 feet of loose ash, Sirocco pelted, ozone haunted, one bough solo in an archipelago of strung out vows and doting volcanoes, Isole Aeoliae, Aeolian Islands. A hoop of exhilaration, sigh of relief softening your votive mouth, if not blowing off steam at the crater rim, crystallizing sulfur pouring over tomes, the trade winds and furies that fan through your realm. Citizen King, those sonorous persona, weaned on fumes, and that old itinerant intonation, air your woes all over again. So that's a little bit of figuring Aeolus. Out of the graves come most of the action figures. They had action figures in the ancient world. Little Homers, little Socrates. They didn't have movable limbs or anything like that, but it was really pretty cool. That's how we know what they look like. Grave goods. Second one, Villa dei Papiri, papyrus villa. Scroll down. At half an inch an hour, it took Piaggio's machine 4 years to unravel Book 4 of Philometus' treatise on music, a score of harmonies unheard for centuries, wrapped in scorched papyrus, one of thousands stacked in a library buried by Vesuvius, palimpsest of pyroclastic flow. One touch turns the seared word to ash, and so, patient reader, Piaggio constructed his machine to open slowly. Clockwork, letterpress, churning in reverse, revealing its charred text, line by line, cowlick of coal dust and carbon copy dating, extolling the pursuit of pleasure and the subtraction of pain, the texture of sound in absentia, singed to a cedar cone pith. A blacksmith's art, to be sure, forgery of atoms. We turn to x-rays now, to disentangle torch from song, marking what would fall, would say. And I quote those last four words, because that's what they found with the x-rays so far. Greek words that said would fall and would say on this new scroll here. 3, final poem. The only moving thing, allusion to Stevens. And then it was raining blackbirds by the flock. Arkansas, a panic of sky spitting out blackbirds, pummeling the tarmac of a New Year's midnight. Blackbirds falling for no reason anyone could put a finger on. 420 acres of augury gone south in a hurry. Red-winged blackbirds like unexploded ordnance darkening driveways, deafening meadows. Dead Abe taking flight, leave taking. The sky a ribbon thing hammered into chimneys. A vacancy, a Verno-like in its buoyancy, grounded. Wingless or godless, the fumaroles, fire and its fallout procure in that place of no birds, where the Anthropocene first set foot, prophecy of self fulfilled. Thanks.
Thank you, Kevin. There's lots of different places. Okay, so you guys, I have to admit something. I'm kind of a natural skeptic. I don't really like to just go with what somebody tells me. I don't really believe in supernatural creatures or like ESP or anything. But after I read Sarah Dowling's book Down, I kind of believe in hypnosis. It's full of these Steinian repetitions that encase public spaces in a really intimate embrace, and I don't know how she does it. Her anaphras are entrancing, her switchbacking syntax carves out this labyrinth of philosophical leaps circling around a desire for, at the same time as an impossibility of a collective belonging. Using song lyrics, emphatic enjambment, and breathless momentum, she creates what one critic has called a tumbleweed tangle of desperate questions, unsolved problems, inexorable desperation, and worry. But it's really great, you guys. Sarah's the author of 2 books, full-length books, Down and Security Posture, which received the Robert Kroich Award for Innovative Poetry. She's also published a chapbook, Birds and Bees, and her writing has appeared in journals Encyclopedia, Windsor Review, Line, and Matrix. She's an assistant professor at the University of Washington Bothell. We're so honored to have her here tonight. Woo! Please welcome Sarah Dowling.
Well, thank you very much for that extremely kind introduction, and thank you so much for having me. It's really an honor to be here, and I'm very happy to get a chance to read for all of you. And it's really especially great to get to read with Daniel and Kristen and Michelle and Kevin. So thank you all for your readings, and I hope I can repay you in kind. I'm going to read from two different projects tonight. The first one is Down, and hopefully you will also enjoy it. It has a lot of prose poetry sequences that are kind of longer, so what I'm going to share with you tonight will be 3 of those, starting with the worry, and then kind of backing off on the worry a little bit. And then I'll close by sharing some new stuff with you, which I think I'll just hold off for a moment and tell you about that right before I read it. So I'm going to start with some stuff from Down, and I think you've set it up perfectly, so I'm just going to launch right in. The first sequence that I'm going to read is called Sunshine Honey. I've got this. I've got anxious, I've got serenity, I've got our existence, of course, disarray never included us. I've got sunshine, I've got an occupying attention, I may refer to, must inherently, I've got any compulsive relationship, sunshine. Sunshine on a cloudy day, on a method, unexpressed or implied, not a thing or a person. On a cloudy day, it will never be morning on it, cloudy in the way that we do this. Cloudy day talking better for us. I've got one sexual method described by forms of histories of aesthetics, when it's made present, when it's by the explicit, when it's cold, that relentless energy outside their excesses of sex, outside their lives, it's cold outside, and when it's linked, when it's a trembling cold outside the world. I've got the month. I may by relentless excesses present the explicit. I've got their lives of us, the month of method and talking, the month of this it, of course their energy would, the month that we're day. I must refer, I've got disarray, may inherently. I've got the month to do a thing described, I guess. Or person, I guess. Sex, I guess an expressed or implied relationship, you'd say very compulsive, I guess, histories, I guess any form of sexless method, you'd say not occupying, I guess, attention, you'd say that never included us. What could make this aesthetics? What could make me feel that, make me many, make me better? What could make me sexless and sexual? Make me feel we, make me feel make me feel us, make me feel matter, make me feel this for one. What could make me feel this commotion, this relationship to energy? What could make me feel this way? I've got so much occupying. I've got a thing, a person. I've got so much inherently not histories, never expressed or implied. I've got relentless honey in the way, so much that an attention deforms. I've got so much disarray. I've got so much talking. I've got so much excesses. Honey included many of us. Honey, of course I've got that. I've got compulsive, got so much sexual. Envious. The bees of any sex. The bees of any means, the bees of any method, one made a matter of their lives, may, for us and for envy, method and present, we do this better, the bees sexless, it was Monday night, the bees, aesthetics, me. I've got described, I've got the explicit, I've got the same state of trepidation, a sweeter song like the suffering described by their energy, I've got a relationship, a sweeter song must refer, occupying anything, a sweeter person or sex, inherently that us, sweeter, it pleases me. I've got all the forms of not. Sweeter than the histories, than this relentless sexual aesthetics, than never the birds included to matter, the birds of one many of us expressed or implied excesses, the birds talking, the way that an attention may present the trees, by disarray in the trees, any method the birds in the trees, we do, well. I guess very compulsive, I guess, for us, well, I guess and for their explicit lives, I guess the method, well, I guess an I sexless, you'd say sexless, of course, you'd say nevertheless, I guess, we're a part of this disorientation. What could make me feel made, what could make me better, what could make disarray this way forms, this way of may not never, this way of a relationship, what could make me feel we, that us, very occupying method, attention, what could make me feel anything this way or any person, what could make this a matter, feel this one, feel this expressed, feel in the way of that attention, feel this included, talking to us of it. I don't need, or implied, I don't need histories of excesses, I don't need no explicit lives, and for sex, of course, I don't need us, I don't need any present, I don't need no money, and any compulsive energy, money described by the relentless method, I don't need no aesthetics, I don't need no inherently money. Fortune, or refer, fortune, or a sexual I, fortune, or it strikes 11, fortune, or there, fortune, or sexless, the sexless many, fortune, or a certain pace and rhythm, fortune to the stabbing pulse beat, Fortune or a relationship to a sexual better, fortune or fame occupying that method made us. I've got by. I've got all the forms of matter. I've got all implied, baby, that would include sex for us. I've got all the riches and for any person or thing, not in the way of attention to excesses. I've got all, it was 10 o'clock. I've got their very method. I've got all the disarray, baby, we refer. One man can claim the explicit talking. One man can claim aesthetics. One man never course of express histories, claim lives of the sexless it, I, us. One man described by many, one man must, one man can, may present one man, relentless and compulsive. One man can claim energy, one man can do any, inherently sexless. Well, I guess, each critical approach. Well, I guess to the kind of contact, well, existing, I guess, between people, between peoples, I guess, refer. I guess a relationship included sex, I guess was described an occupying method. You'd say sexual, you'd say forms made compulsive. I guess you'd say better than any person may, I guess, present their histories. What can make this matter? What can make me feel us? Make me feel this method? What can make attention to excesses? What can make explicit disarray? What can make a relentless course we must do? Make me feel the very aesthetics expressed or implied? What can make me feel this in their lives of talking, this way that one inherently I or thing, this way not sexless, never sexless, would that it were, this of us by many, make me feel this in any energy for us and for it. So the next sequence I'll read taps back the worry somewhat by going instead for somnolence. So this one is called Everyone Sleep. Sometimes I'm the sentimental songs I enjoyed when I was a teenager, liking you like the buses blow like clouds, and I'm a lonely hawk in a sky that flies, and you are my hold, you in my heart with a very real prey. My prey sat there and told my friend how I felt. Right now, I'm the ones I played when I experienced a girl. For the first time, liking things is like a promise. If there is a place further from them, we'll keep it dry, the maroon robe. You know that one of these days were numerous, and today I sat there and told my friend how I felt. Sometimes, I'm the first time I realized they were written in a language of snow, gone up from the calling I did not yet speak, because you did the same thing every time we were in the place further from me. I beg you do not go, but see tears that sat there and told my friend how I felt. Right now, I realize too quickly that I think I've been holding back this yes again, being all over the time you do, mornings in my heart with a very secret place further from me. I beg you probably shouldn't tell you how I've got to tell you always how I sat there and told my friend how I felt. Sometimes, I imagine being thrown from a plane over my prey like it's because you picked me up at the parking lot was crowded with a language I did not yet speak, and I stood up right now at the block while every one of these days, when you were alone, I sat there and told my friend how I felt. Right now, I'm not on a plane though, and for days, everything was waiting again with lunch in my mouth, a tea. I'll be cold if you tell the world I've got to tell you the bus is glowing further from this hawk was in a sky I did not yet see, but sat there and told my friend how I felt. Sometimes, I was in the same car over and over and liking sleep. You know, oh, that nothing can see tears that seem to pray that think yes again, being all over everybody. Although I never weep, I'm trusting you with mornings in a sky, a place further from me. If I let this, if I tell you, if I beg you, do not go talking and telling my friend, it's you. So the last one I'll read from this book, I guess I will tell you a short story about its genesis, as many of you, I assume, either are writing or are hoping to write books. When I turned this over to my editor, she said, yes, like this, like that, good. It has a giant hole right before the end, so you're going to have to write something to fill it. And I said, what do you mean? I don't understand. So after reading over the manuscript over and over and trying to figure out what it was that she thought was missing, this was the result. So it's called The Safe Mm-hmm. Can I boy under you, honey? Mm-hmm. Can you tell tell everyone I should brush against this maroon starlight and save the robe? Can I bury the songs in the morning, the gray sunshine, the fire, and what I sometimes pray, and what you write now? How I honey. Honey, sometimes I think you're getting further from liking this, from the buses, the cold, from the plane, the hawk, the parking lot, and the numerous stars. Honey, of am I safe sometimes now and way under anxious? Am I clearly the songs you honey, Can I bury the gray sunshine, honey, the grass fire, the prey, the hawk under snow? Can you know where the robe is? Where's the tea in my mouth? How honey? Can you tell everyone, can I bury under safe? Can you brush it clear over me sometimes, honey? Can you know how, honey? I've got to tell you, sunshine, got to tell everyone. I think we should sing all the sentimental songs and tell the starlight, buried way under morning and sunshine. I've got to tell you to tell everyone. I've got to tell you to tell everyone I always think in my mouth. I've got to get you and glow like the parking lot, the snow, the gray mornings, the only passenger. Can I see you brush the car in the sunshine? Gotta tell you. Can you robe the songs clearly? Tell me. Can you bury me, honey? Can I boy under you, honey? Tell me. Can I think you're safe to hawk the starlight and brush morning? Can you beg the cold lunch, the anxious prey? Honey, can I brush over you liking things I think in the place further from this? Tell me. Honey. So that's what I'll share tonight from Down. And the other thing that I wanted to share with you is some new work. And before I kind of give you some backstory to that, are there many people who've done much driving out on the Olympic Peninsula? Yes. Did anyone see the extremely large official U.S. government road sign that's like just after Swim or something that says entering Sappho?
Yes.
So for those who have yet to experience wonder, I'm driving along and there's this large official road sign that looks just like all the others and it says entering Sappho and you're like, wow. You drive along through some more green trees and you think, where is it? And you turn around and there's one that says the same thing on the other side of the road. But really, it's very hard to notice what is it that you have entered and apparently exited. So, in addition to that sounding extremely crude, I was taken with the notion of what would it mean to sort of enter Sappho in terms of her poetry. And I thought to myself about this for a long time, but it really seemed that sort of all we have with Sappho is this sort of history of repeated attempts to enter into her work and make something of the fragments. So I thought about this for a very long time, and I knew I wanted to write something with it, perhaps not about it, but it took me a very long time to sort of figure that out. And eventually I found this book of about 100 or so translations of the Jealousy poem into French, and that gave me sort of just enough space to feel I could do something and kind of move around in the materials. So what I did was I translated those translations into English, took them apart, and kind of recombined them into a new sequence of prose poems that sort of expands to a very, very large degree. I think probably around 5,000 words right now, the Jealousy poem. So I'm just going to share a little bit from the beginning of this project with you, and this is very fresh work, so I'm really interested in hearing responses. And I'll start with Longinus' translation of the Jealousy poem, translated into English, so that you can sort of get a feel for what the Jealousy poem is, if it's something that you don't know. So Longinus writes in On the Sublime, "Are you not amazed at how she evokes soul, body, hearing, tongue, sight, skin, as though they were external and belonged to someone else? And how at one and the same time she both freezes and burns, is irrational and sane, is terrified and nearly dead, so that we observe in her not a single emotion, but a whole concourse of emotions. Such things do, of course, commonly happen to people in love." So with that, We have now left Rome and are entering Sappho. Because so soon as I see you, a cold sweat spreads all over my body. Ah, it has stolen all directions. A cold sweat pours from my body, a confused buzzing noise in my ears. A cold sweat floods me, a cold sweat floods me, and I am greener than grass, and then I feel like dying. And a cold sweat gets on me, and close, half raised, it dares not stand fully or lie back down in the grass. A subtle flame flowing in my veins, and a man kisses your knees. A cold sweat floods me. A trembling sees me entirely, a subtle fire runs in me, and faltering, a subtle fire starts running under my skin. A subtle fire, a tremor through me fully, and that subtle short fire is immediately under my skin. It seems to me that man is the equal of the gods. Cold sweat flowing from my body, and you slowly see him smile. Also, a cold sweat penetrates me. I hear you and see you, a confused noise humming in my ears. A subtle fire runs in my veins, a subtle flame runs in my veins, a subtle fire spreads rapidly under my chair, and I almost hear you speak softly, my heart beating violently in my chest. And close, gently, I hear you. As soon as my eyes see you, a nervous tremor shakes, and I think I'm dying. And as soon as I see it, a penetrating fire devours my flesh, and my eyes grow dim, a little jealous of Cleus. Ah, a sweet agony bathes me, as it is, and a whole trembling seized me, and a slight fever immediately diffuses under my skin, because he's sitting in front of you. I am without lice and without movement. As soon as I see you, breathing fails me, I'm entirely in love. A subtle fire runs in my veins, and I envy you, graceful mouse, but we must dare all. A trembling sees me entirely, your gracious laugh. Fire soon after runs under my skin and droning my ears. I hear your voice so sweet, an indistinct and monotonous rumor, for as soon as I see you, that you, great is my distress. A long shoulder seized me, and inert, death touches me as soon as I see you. But as soon as things are there, to myself I am almost dead, but here my tongue is broken. Listen to your sweet voice and your laughter, charmer who panics my heart. I become pale, my eyes obscure themselves, I embarrass my tongue. I become the prey of death, a graceful mouse. And I cannot find my voice, my ears ringing me, and your friendly laughter. It seems that it does not take much. I die. I have no more, no, and I am greener than the grass. I miss my voice. The sound stops at my throat. I am paler than the grass, at any moment dying, and great is my distress. A show of itself almost faded, and under my skin an impalpable fire flows, life worthy of the gods. But we must suffer all, for as soon as I see you, but everything supports, but we must endure all, as if it were viewing you. I become still, and a subtle fire slips into my veins. My tongue is silent. Hardly I saw you on the edge of my lips. My muffled voice stops. I feel down like the grass of the field. As soon as I see you, because unhappy, hardly have I seen you, and I lack the voice to my lips. This voice no longer reaches my lips, and my eyes perceive nothing. I'm greener than the grass, and I die almost of failure. I trickle with sweat far away. It seems to me the equal of the gods. I'm not afraid. And sweat inundates me and shakes me whole, and great is my distress. Ah, I listen close to your sweet voice and your adorable laugh. I listen close, vibrating songs with which you expressed your love. I am greener than grass. I feel I die, your caressing voice and the desirable tone of your laugh. Ears ringing me, you're equal to the gods. I am speechless. I hear a confused voice, I hear a confused noise, I'm dying. I tremble, but we must dare everything. I become paler than the withered grass. I become greener than the grass as soon as I see you. It seems equal to the gods, and you laugh graciously. My color is similar to grass, and I feel I almost die. My body is merely a continuous shudder. My ears are ringing. I appear incapable of any bold poetic movement, and great is my distress. This even moved true lovers in the most remote times. As soon as I have seen you, melodious, I appear almost dead. I have no words, close, enchanting, I almost seem dead. My tongue is broken. I miss the word. I watch the equal of the gods. I watch the rival of the gods. In the enchanting disorder where you jetty me, I cannot speak. Eyes fixed on you, I think it equal to the gods, the one who sat next to you gently. I dare all, but we must dare all. Listen, when you mouse by, instilling the desire, my eyes see nothing, my sight and my ears are ringing disorder. If at least Phaon had, my eyes continue to see. In a moment, I'll be dead of fear. He becomes intoxicated with your words and your smile, and it is a violent but gentle death. At once I miss my voice, and my tongue breaks, my ears ring. I drip with sweat, I turn greener than the grass, equal to the gods. For you, as soon as I see a moment, I'm greener than the prairie, the fever burns me. I'll stop there. Thank you.
Thanks everybody for coming out tonight. Let's have another round of applause for tonight's speakers. So next month, please join us on March 9th for Erin L. McCoy, Patrick Runyon, Jane Youngberg, Elizabeth Cooperman, and Andrew Fell. Have a great night, everybody.